WAM and FM.
Brought to you by Enel Green Power's Alta Farms Wind Project, Baum Chevy Buick, Clinton Athletic Boosters, Clinton Community YMCA, Covenant Animal Clinic, Liberty Village, Midstate Eye, Nan Krang with Remax Choice, your 217 home team, Warner Hospital and Health Services, and ServPro of Piatt, DeWitt counties.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock is news time on the WHOW Morning Show. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and news streams to Facebook and YouTube brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. With limited to no COVID mitigations on Illinois schools heading into the 2022-23 school year, Central Illinois school superintendents are celebrating having kids back in the normal school calendar ahead. Clinton School Superintendent Kurt Nettle says it feels fantastic to embark on a normal school year and looks forward to the regular activities that make the Clinton community tick, like homecoming and Veterans Day celebrations, as well as Grandparents' Day at the elementary school.
It feels fantastic. I will tell you that, we talk about, playing sports, muscle memory. So I hadn't put the suit and tie on in a while. And it was almost like putting the suit and tie on. My muscle memory was, where's my mask? And I felt a little weird. So hopefully we're putting all that behind us, moving forward. It was great to see everybody's smiling faces or sad faces, depending on your emotion of the morning. And we've had teachers for a couple of days now before this. It's great. It feels, I told everybody, it's going to feel like 2018-19. Now there's still people that are going to get COVID and get a little bit sick and things like that. And we'll have to deal with it. I sent some information to you all out as parents recently. And, if you're sick, stay home, and we're going to watch those kinds of things. But this feels really great. And we're super excited about starting the school year. The thing I've been thinking about the most is like homecoming and the homecoming parade. And I know we had the parade last year, but it's just doing all those kinds of things, jamming that gym full of people to watch good basketball or, whatever the case may be, whatever sport. Parents getting to come back into schools for parent-teacher conferences if they want to. Grandparents' Day at CES, maybe having our veterans back in on Veterans Day to celebrate, just all those kinds of things. Our school district is a community, and we want the community involved, so them showing up.
Lincoln High School Superintendent Dwight Strickland is looking forward to one of the best years ever at Lincoln. He appreciates the support of the community throughout the pandemic, and with homecoming in a few weeks at Lincoln High School, he looks forward to having events like that return to normal.
We are all so much looking forward to this. It's been great. It's been tough the last couple of years, but I'm very proud of what we've done here at the high school. Actually, the whole community of Lincoln been very supportive. All the school districts, we've all been on the same page of how we were going to deal with COVID, and we offered in person all the way through. So that was great. This year, all of our kids are back. It's going to be exciting to get back to, like you said, just a normal year, and let's get our focus on where it really needs to be, the education, and not have to worry about wearing masks and sending kids home, and let's just work on educating the kids, because that's what we're here for. We're looking to have one of our best school years ever. We have all the kids back this year. Our athletics, we have some really strong teams, so that things look forward for the school year. We're getting ready for homecoming here in a couple of weeks.
That's right.
It's going to be exciting. Kids are really happy to be back, at least right now, beginning of the year. But no, all the staff's excited. We got some new staff members, so it just brings new energy, and always want to keep things fresh and just do things for kids. That's what it's all about.
Mount Pulaski School Superintendent Fred Lampke calls it undoubtedly mostly pleasant. With the uncertainty and stress of the last 2 weeks, Lampke calls it a breath of fresh air to be back to normal.
Seth, it is undoubtedly mostly sunny, if not all sunny right now. It's such a different year. I spent the last 2 summers working with board members, teachers, following the COVID rates in our region, wondering how the next week's going to be, if we're going to have to wear a mask, if we won't wear a mask, waiting for the governor to decide if it's going to be our decision, his decision. And it created so much of a distraction to us that we didn't start the school year relatively normal at all. And everybody walked in not knowing what to expect, not knowing how long we'd be open, if somebody contract COVID, are you going to be quarantined? I mean, the pressure and stress that put on every stakeholder in our district was just ridiculous. And this year is such a breath of fresh air that cloud no longer is hanging over us, as we stated, and that we are having conversations about instruction and improving things and how we do things better. It's just such a relief, honestly. The summer went so quickly as well. It's our first summer that we actually kind of had to ourselves in a few years. But at the same time, once we got past the 4th of July, school started, it seemed like. It just went by in a flash.
Dr. Lisa Taylor is the superintendent of Hayworth Schools and indicates it's nice to start the school year without a divisive cloud hanging over the community. Everyone is now on the same page as the school year starts in her district.
Yeah, it has been wonderful, and I'm sure you've heard lots of superintendents describe it, but I think just, the lack of divisiveness over issues and having a normal school year just brought this new energy into this year. We also had about 18 of our teachers go to summer conferences and get new ideas, and so I would just say excitement, energy, good vibes. It was truly a celebration those first couple days. We weren't waiting for a ball to drop at the state level and some decision to be made. And we just felt like we can do what we were hired to do. And everybody, it just started and has been so smooth. The kids are so happy to be back. And it's honestly been my best year since I've been here in Hayworth. And that's 7 years. So
for Blue Ridge School Superintendent Dr. Hillary Stanifer, she's only known her position through the COVID pandemic and says she and plenty of others in the community have been looking forward to normal for some time.
I guess I have a different perspective because this is really me for the first time being superintendent without a big COVID heavy over me. Right? Because that's all I've known so far. What I'm looking forward to is all the extra activities that we get to do, the things that were normal before, but I wasn't sitting in this role at that time. But, our SFA is out and very active. They're winning a lot of state awards. And a lot of those things weren't possible when we couldn't have groups together. We couldn't transport them easily because they couldn't be that close to each other. And there's just we were able to welcome volunteers back into the classroom. And we've been waiting for normal for a long, long time. So it's really refreshing to come back and to see all the things that are happening that maybe, it's hard to believe it was just 2 years ago when we started school and we were masked and we only had part of our population coming in each day. And we only had kids in 4 days a week out of the 5. It just seems like such a foreign idea right now. And I'm so glad for that. Kids are ready to be back. They have smiles on their faces. They're getting involved in things. Our high school started with that first week. They had like a hot dog lunch and a kickball game for the kids. And the next day they did some rotations and learned some different things. And one of the rotations was, an ice cream truck out in the back parking lot. And, it's just good to be together and be a family again, be able to see all the faces.
Like Dr. Stanifer, Dr. Chris Kaler at Maroa Forsyth Schools took over in the thick of the pandemic. He is noticing teachers and students are much more relaxed, and his district has a mask optional policy. They're asking everyone to respect the decisions of others.
You can just tell the teachers and the students are both much more relaxed. We've made it as masks optional. We have some students that are wearing masks, and the thing that we ask is that everybody's choice be respected, and that's been what I've seen so far when I walk the buildings and the elementary, middle school, and high school. And so it's been great seeing the kids starting off on a normal year.
Superintendent of Warrensburg Latham Schools, Cheryl Warner, took over during the 2019-2020 school year and is looking forward to seeing the guests and volunteers of the district return this year.
Illinois' proud agricultural industry.
Right. It's been a fantastic start of the school year. Honestly, it's just been a breath of fresh air. You can tell that this level of stress has just kind of lifted off the shoulders of not only all of our teachers and staff, but our students. I would say my favorite top moment for the year so far was Wednesday morning when kids got off buses for the first time. It's been the first time in 2 years that we've been able to see them come to the first day of school without masks on. And just to be able to see the sheer joy on their faces, to be back at school. And we actually didn't even have any crying kindergarten students that had issues separating. It was just so refreshing. It's just been a great start to the year. And I will tell you, one of the most exciting things is because we are not dealing with any COVID mitigations right now. There are so many things that we can bring back that had to be on hold for 2 years, and just opportunities with our students to work with each other across elementary, middle, and high school, and with our staff. You know, we have a very unique campus where all 3 of our buildings are connected, which gives us so many positives and opportunities for our students to work with each other across grade levels. And so we've immediately started that experience this year, and that's just a wonderful welcome addition back to school.
Most school districts went back to class a few weeks ago on Wednesday, August 17th. Several Central Illinois school districts are also finally able to fully utilize the capacity of their facility updates they've done in the last year and a half. It's felt like a pretty mild August to this point, but in fact, weather officials say we're trending to a pretty average August. Matt Barnes with the National Weather Service in Lincoln indicates the heat has largely set up in the west, and some cooler Canadian air is keeping it out there instead of dominating the summer weather like was anticipated earlier this year.
Well, this year, it seems like we got the heat kind of early on. We had a couple of periods in June and into at least the first half of July where we had some temperatures in the mid and even upper 90s, but we've had a pattern change. And once we got into the month of August, we've had kind of a persistent trough over eastern Canada into the Great Lakes, and it's brought some cooler air masses down from Canada. So the heat has actually shifted into the western part of the U.S., out in the Rockies, along the West Coast. So we've been kind of on the cooler side of things, and that trend has been very persistent through much of the month of August, and it looks like it may continue into at least the first part of September.
Mm-hmm. Some parts of central Illinois are enjoying lush gardens and head-high crops thanks to timely rain, but others are not. Barnes indicates the August rains have been hit and miss depending on where you're at.
Well, since the beginning of the year, I looked at some of the data here just this morning. Since the beginning of the year, areas along the I-74 corridor have been running a pretty good rainfall deficit. So stretching from Champaign-Danville area up through Bloomington and Peoria, that area is running about 4 to 5 inches below normal for the year. And this is really the area of concern across central Illinois, where we presently have some abnormally dry conditions in place. In fact, the latest drought monitor continues to highlight areas around Champaign County in a severe drought, with moderate drought conditions extending up towards Bloomington. We've also got an area in west central Illinois around Macomb, westward to the Mississippi border, where we've got moderate drought conditions occurring.
Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. Sports is next.
At Central Illinois Outdoors with me,